Today we will try to give brief information about the background of task-based language teaching, which is considered to be a strong version of communicative approach. We will look over the definitions of task and how it was viewed by advocates of this approach. We will talk about assumption-supported language learning through TBLT in language classes. Task-based language teaching refers to an approach based on the use of tasks as the core unit of planning and instruction in language teaching. Language learning is believed to depend on immersing students not merely in comprehensive input, but in tasks that require them to negotiate meaning and engage in naturalistic and meaningful communication. Let's have a look at some key assumptions of task-based instruction summarized by Fees in 1998. The focus is on process rather than product in this instruction. Based elements are purposeful activities and tasks that emphasize communication and meaning. Learners learn language by interacting communicatively and purposefully while engaged in the activity and tasks. Two types of activities were mentioned by Fees. Those that learners might need to achieve in real life, those that have a pedagogical purpose specific to the classroom. So task-based instruction takes a fairly strong view of communicative language teaching. Noonan defines the communicative task as a piece of classroom work which involves learners in comprehending, manipulating, and producing or interacting in the target language, while their attention is principally focused on meaning rather than form. The task should also have a sense of completeness, being able to stand alone as a communicative act in its own right. TBLT is motivated primarily by a theory of learning rather than a theory of language. However, several assumptions about the nature of language can be said to underlie current approaches to TBLT. Let's have a look. Language is primarily a means of making meaning. TBLT emphasizes the central role of meaning in language use. As Kihan in 1998 stated, task-based instruction is not concerned with language display. Multiple models of language inform TBI. Advocates of task-based instruction draw on structural, functional, and interactional models of language. TBI is therefore not linked to a single model of language, but rather draws on all three models of language theory. Lexical units are central in language use and language learning. Vocabulary is here used to include the consideration of lexical phrases, sentence stems, and collocations, and not only words as significant units of linguistic, lexical analysis, and language pedagogy. Since conversation is believed to be central focus of language and the keystone of language acquisition, the majority of tasks that are proposed within TBLT involve conversation. Task-based instruction shares the general assumptions about the nature of language learning underlying communicative language teaching. However, some additional learning principles play a central role in TBLT theory. These are: tasks provide both the input and output processing necessary for language acquisition. In contrast to Krashen's comprehensible input, which was suggested as sufficient criterion for successful language acquisition, Swain claimed that adequate opportunities for productive use of language are critical for full language development. Tasks are believed to provide full opportunities for both input and output requirements, which are the key processes in language learning. Task, activity, and achievement are motivational. Tasks are also said to improve learner motivation and therefore promote learning. This is because they require the learners to use authentic language. They involve partnership and collaboration. They may encourage a variety of communication styles. Learning difficulty can be negotiated and fine-tuned for particular pedagogical purposes. Scian suggests that in selecting or designing tasks, there is a trade-off between cognitive processing and focus on form. He suggests that tasks can be designed along a line of difficulty so that learners can work on tasks that enable them to develop both fluency and awareness of language form. The goals of TPIT to facilitate students' language learning by engaging them in a variety of tasks that have a clear outcome, and to give students the ability to communicate accurately and effectively in the most common English language activities they may be involved in. And that's the end of our today's video. Thanks for watching.